Hey, this is Brittany Wagner with Last Chance U, and you're listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports.
SportsRadioDetroit.com.
We don't need TV to entertain us. He said enough.
You actually have to contribute.
Wow. You're welcome.
Just send a couple tweets, Dave.
You know what?
Get the job done.
You know what, guys? You're welcome for every guest ever.
Darren McCarty will be joining us to talk about, I don't know, what the fuck ever. If Mickey Redmond hadn't chosen hockey as his profession, he would undoubtedly be a lumberjack.
True. Absolutely true. Or he would have played one on TV.
I must have been bombed.
You were very bombed.
Because I don't remember that at all.
Was she a good sport about it? Did she enjoy your antics?
Yeah, she giggled a little bit.
Yeah, and she's a nice gal.
Holy Moses. Wow. Talked about how windy it was, and Chris, you brought it up earlier, going to back into the field.
Better turn up the mics first, right? I sit here trying to get the show started. Why can't I hear myself? Anyway, welcome. Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. You're not getting anything out of your headphones there, Dave?
Nope. It's all right.
How about now? You good?
I mean, I'm not plugged in now. So.
How about you guys? You guys good? Just have a show meeting right now. It's fine. Huh?
His isn't on.
What do you mean it's not on? Your fourth mic. That's right.
Yeah, fourth mic. Now it's on.
All right, fine. Now that we got that disaster over with. You are listening. Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. David Faze, Mike Tripp, Geoff Mell, myself, Dan Griffin. We are all here. Dave's trying to get his microphone or his headphones.
I'm just gonna be mono tonight. Can only get one ear to work, so it's fine.
That means he won't hear half the drops.
No, I think I'll hear them.
Come on one side.
It'll be great.
Anyway, thank you for joining us on Facebook Live, iTunes, SportsRadioDetroit.com, wherever the hell you listen to podcasts. We're here. We're there. We're everywhere. And that clip you heard there at the beginning of the show, before I forgot to turn the mics on.
I mean, I didn't, but
okay. You know what it was.
I do.
And you could thank Connor Barth for a very, very happy pre-Thanksgiving Sunday, and your Detroit Football Lions moving to within just 2 games of the Minnesota Vikings, or staying within just 2 games of the Minnesota Vikings, a team that they have to play on Thursday. And here's all I can say about Sunday's game. I forgot to pull up the fart cart, so I'll just use my mouth. And Geoff still thinks they're going to the Super Bowl.
That wasn't his mouth.
Let's start the show.
Dang it, I can't even make that joke because people know it wasn't. People know what it was.
And here we are. Here we sit today. I don't know how Dave feels. I know Geoff still thinks they're going to the Super Bowl.
I mean, what did you want?
What do you mean, what did I want?
Go on the road in the division and you win a scummy way. That's how the NFC North is.
Oh, yeah. Win's the win, baby.
It is. The W's count.
Just get the win.
You know how you do it.
You know what I want is I want to see you, I don't know, maybe not go down 10-0 against a bad football team for once.
That's definitely a good gripe.
Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, they've had really bad starts on both sides of the ball the last couple games. At least the last 2 games, maybe even further out than that.
How about this one? How about, I don't know, don't give up over 200 yards to a bad football team on the ground? I mean, that'd be...
They're a good rushing team.
It's a good place to be.
They're a good rushing team in general, though.
Okay, they have nothing else.
That's like their strength.
So what you're telling me is that any team that can run the ball with any sort of competence, the Lions have no chance against.
Yeah, that's the weakness. The secondary has to be really, really good, which they have been.
I don't have anything left, Dave. I don't know if you want to join in on this.
I mean, they're 6-4. It's not a lot to argue about.
There's plenty to argue about. They've looked like absolute trash against two of the league's worst teams. Now, I know the Bears have a little bit more of a heartbeat than the Browns, of course, but this is 3 wins here against really bad football teams in games that were a lot closer than they should have been. Maybe the one that was the
Packers.
The best one was definitely the Packers victory
the Packers.
on the road.
They played a full game.
Oh, but you beat the Browns by 14 points. You were down 10-0 at the end, near the end of the first quarter.
Yeah, but who cares about the first quarter? As long as you don't lose, you can't lose a game in the first quarter. You still won by 2
Here's
scores.
what I see. Here's what I'm tired of. This is what we see out of this Lions team all the time. And this is just another I told you so. Right? You have got to stop thinking that the Lions can play this brand of football and have an opportunity to win this division or win a playoff game. You play football like this, first of all, you're going to get bent over by the Vikings on Thursday because the Vikings are absolutely mauling people. That's one of the best teams in the league right now. That team is
they're the hottest team in the league.
By the way, they've started 16 quarterbacks this year. And still have they still have 2 losses.
Well, they've won every.
They've started 2, but in fairness,
Case Keenum's only lost 1 game, correct?
Correct,
and that's to the Lions.
Correct.
So, it's really this streak has been Case Keenum and not turning the ball over, running the ball effectively, and the defense playing well for Minnesota.
I mean, I got news for you. Like all the people that wanted to talk about the Teddy Bridgewater story, and it's great. I mean, it's amazing for what happened to his leg and the fact that there was conversation right after that injury that they might have to amputate his leg because the injury was that severe. Thank God for modern medicine. The doctors were obviously able to save it, and he's made a miraculous recovery. But there is not a chance in hell he is going to start or get into a football game unless Case Keenum blows it. Not going to happen. Case Keenum's playing way too well, which is amazing. I don't think anybody would have anticipated that. And the team is rolling. There's no way they're going to change it up at quarterback for no reason. So, I mean, it's great that Bridgewater's back and ready to go. He'll probably be the starter going into next year, but right now it's Case Keenum's team, and they're going to roll with it.
And that's what you have to focus on is right now. And right here, right now, this Lions team has shown me absolutely less than nothing.
Oh, they have been blown up by the run 2 weeks in a row.
Can we talk about...
Just terrible.
Can we talk about why the Lions didn't lose yesterday? Are you really going to sit here and tell me that the Detroit Lions went out there and won that football game? Because what I'm going to point to is a terrible quarterback center exchange that led to a gift touchdown when you're down 10-0. But when, by the way, the Bears are driving to make this game probably 17-0. Merry fucking Christmas on that touchdown. And then Matt Prater digs you out of a hole with that go-ahead field goal when you were well within his range. Then you decide to move back 68 yards or whatever the hell it was. He comes out, he still buries that field goal. And you go, well, there's no way the Bears can fuck up this thing any worse. And then Connor Barth says, "Here, hold my beer. I got this, guys." And he fucking dick slaps the ball into the 28th row.
I think he said, "Hold my beer, hold my shoe, and pull my finger all at the same time." Thanks.
And then right before that, you've got Mitch Trubisky on a 4th and 13 scramble for a first down.
I thought it was 4th and 15. Maybe
the most embarrassing quarterback scramble I've ever seen in my life. You were so fortunate to win that football game. And we're having a very different dialogue here today.
You've gotten cut up 2 weeks in a row by 2 rookie quarterbacks who prior to your game had not played that well.
Yeah. Well, Deshaun
Kaiser.
Deshaun Kaiser. He's a little different because he's so athletic that he was very difficult for that Lions defense.
Well, Trubisky looked like Kaiser yesterday.
But not to the extent that I think Kaiser gave them problems.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it just I don't know. It's the linebackers.
I think basically my point is that the Lions played Trubisky like they were playing Sam Bradford. You know what I mean? It's like there's no threat of a run at all. If you're playing somebody like that, you know that all he's going to do is like scramble for 4 or 5 yards in an absolute pinch. He's never going to be a guy that's going to run. But Trubisky had a couple. I think he ended up with like like 50 yards rushing yesterday.
53 yards on 6 carries for Mitch Trubisky yesterday.
Yeah.
Part
Those
of
are
that
pretty good
whopping
numbers.
222.
Pretty good numbers there.
Yeah. But they still won on the road in the division. What are you going to do? What do you want? What do you want? You just think it's all fake, that there's no way that they're any good at all?
No, Jeff, I'm in the middle.
I can't do this anymore.
No, here, let me. Dan, hold on a
6
second.
and 4.
Dan, hold on a second. I don't think that 6 and 4 as a whole is a mirage, but that win yesterday was an absolute gift. Like, there is no way they should have won that football game. They didn't play well enough to win. They didn't. They got gifted a win because the Bears went Bears at a couple of inopportune
Bears
moments.
just weren't as good as they were. They played bad and played down, and the Bears played a little bit. And the Bears played a little bit better than they normally
fair,
play.
but that's also a problem.
And so you had but it's
because
in the division.
The Lions
on the road.
always seem to do that.
That's
shit.
what happens in all division games on the road. They're all tough. They're all scummy.
You went on the road and beat the Vikings.
Yeah, they went on the road, and they beat them pretty handily.
Yeah, and
Like,
you looked a lot better there than you looked against the Bears.
They controlled the game.
That was when the Lions were a good football team. These last 4 weeks, I've not watched a good football team. Lodi Nada's out, and Eric Decker's been out. They've had all these problems. And here's the thing: what do we sit here and we talk?
Eric Decker again.
Did I say it again?
Yeah.
Fucking Taylor Decker. Eric Taylor Decker. Taylor Eric Decker.
That'd be awesome
Yeah.
if his middle name was Eric. It would really fuck everything up.
So, what we've sat here and talked about all of the greatness of Bob Quinn, right? He's trying to add all this depth. Where's this depth? I don't see it anywhere. Somebody goes down, and there's no semblance of any sort of skill replacing that position, because you can do it in one of two ways. You can either have depth. I understand you're not going to have depth at every position. I understand that. But you need to do one of two things. Good football teams do one of two things. They either have depth at that position, or they're superior at another part on the field. And the Lions' defense not doing that for me right now.
Okay, so who are the players that are on the field playing right now that isn't the depth players that are playing all right? Like, who are the guys on the field right now that you don't think are playing well that aren't starters?
Well, you've got 2 missing on the defensive line, and you've got 3 missing on the defensive line.
You do.
So nobody on the defensive line. Is there any depth at any of the 3 positions that are missing there?
Yeah, so 3 guys are down.
So you need to make up. So you know what you need to do?
Second and third string down.
You need to make up for it in the linebacking core, which had sort of been happening until, I don't know, Jared Davis injured himself and for some reason hasn't been able to figure out his way out of a paper bag in the last couple of games.
And it doesn't hurt that they have a revolving door at outside linebacker, because Warlow got hurt, then Maven came in, then he got hurt.
Yep.
And who do they play? Nick Ballore out there right now?
Well, Warlow was out there yesterday.
Yeah, and they're kind of like swapping him in and out. They don't have that one
And
guy.
This'll hurt Dan's feelings, but I'm hard pressed to say that any linebacker has played more consistently this year than Tahir Whitehead.
Yeah,
that's not very difficult to do, considering you have a rookie in Jared Davis who's looked very, very good at times.
Yeah, he's having some growing pains right now.
Other than that, it's not very difficult to be the best linebacker on the team.
Well, it is to me that the thing that I think is strange of the last 2 weeks for Jared Davis is, like, he's continued to have coverage problems, which I kind of anticipated anyway.
Doesn't bother us,
and I think that's probably one of the harder things for a young rookie linebacker to really master is getting back in pass coverage. It's a tough thing to do. So I knew there was going to be some growing pains there, but he had been very good against the run. Now granted, like you just mentioned, you're missing 2 big stalwarts on the defensive line, and Ziggy and Haloti Ngata, who are both very good run defenders. So that's your first line of run defense. So Jared Davis was kind of your backup to the first line of run defense. So it's probably made him look a little better.
Not to mention, how much better does Ziggy Ansah make you, considering outside of putting Eric Flowers in a grave against the Giants, he really hasn't done shit.
Well, no, you have to remember that with Ziggy
Teams
on the
game plan for
they
him,
game
even if he hasn't been playing great.
For 2, they double team him, and for 3, he's good against the run along with the pass. He might not be getting to the quarterback, but he makes a difference on the defense.
You paying him $17 to $20 million?
No, I'm not. I'm gonna let him walk, or I'm gonna offer him a low ball.
I think, in a weird way, with his injury issues and his last 2 years,
offer.
You might be able to get him to take a lower deal for 1 year to kind of a prove it contract rather than even do in the franchise because I don't even know what he'll get on the free
You know what
agent
he'll do
market,
is
to
he'll
be
pull a
honest.
Cliff Averill is what he'll do.
I don't know if Ziggy will do that.
Well, no, Cliff Averill was way better than Ziggy was at that time
in terms of statistics put up. Averill had way more to.
And he was healthy. He was healthy.
Yeah.
Ziggy's been not healthy for 2.5 years.
What I mean is he'll walk away and dominate and win a Super Bowl. That's what I mean by he'll pull a Cliff
I don't know.
Averill.
He was good. Averill at least was good when he walked. Ziggy hasn't been good for a year and a half. So I don't know. What
kind of makes me hope Haloti comes back for another year, though. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah, I mean they
could use him.
They have holes going forward.
Look, point is, you've got a game coming up against the Vikings.
They got to go D-line in the draft a lot this year.
Jeff thinks they're going to win by 30, right? Against
think he said
against the
that.
Vikings.
Not true. Stop putting words in my mouth.
He said 26.
Yeah, come on,
It's the best team in the league. The Lions are.
get out of here.
What in the XFL?
The best team in the league are the New England Patriots.
And
there's no question.
There is a question.
I mean, you could probably argue the Eagles. You maybe could have argued the Rams up until this week.
Yeah,
before they got
they had to go on the road
before they got smoked by who beat them again?
They didn't get smoked.
They
21-7.
They
right?
scored one touchdown on their first possession and barely got across midfield after that. One of the most prolific offenses in the league this year. They got smoked by the Vikings.
Also had giant droughts of not doing anything as well. They didn't score till the end. They were only up by a touchdown.
He sits
with
here
5 minutes
and he
to
talks
go.
about how great the Lions are.
I'm just saying they didn't smoke them.
And he
you
wants
said
to
they smoked them. They
and he
didn't smoke them. Did you watch the game?
He wants to tell me that the Rams didn't get smoked yesterday.
They didn't.
That's a fair point.
If you watch the game, you know they didn't get smoked. They were in 5 minutes left to go. They were still in that game.
Jeff makes a fair point.
One touchdown
in the last 5 minutes. The game's tied. You can't be smoked with 5 minutes left to go, and you're only down a touchdown. Get out of here.
Well, let's see.
Did they get beat? Yes. Did they get controlled? Yes. They didn't get smoked.
They got rocked. They got rocked.
This guy.
The scoreboard may not have shown it until late in the fourth quarter,
It
but
didn't
they
even
got
show
rocked.
late in the fourth quarter. It was just a touchdown to win the game, basically. Did you watch it?
Most of it on Red Zone.
All right, so then you would know that the game was literally boring for most of it. It was nobody did anything. They didn't smoke them.
Got crushed by that defense. Yes, they did.
All right.
Yes, they did. Lions are still a good football team, and the Rams didn't get knocked around by the Vikings yesterday.
Lions went in there and won.
We live in two different worlds when it comes to the game of football, Jeff Mel and I.
You watching the same game I did, then you would know that what you just said is wrong.
I think we watched two different games.
There's no way.
You must have watched a replay.
God. If you have the ball, 5 minutes left to go,
I will
you
say
can
this.
score to tie the game, you did not get smoked.
The one part of the game that I would say that the Vikings legitimately did dominate was the run game.
Yeah,
both ways. They ran the ball
yeah.
super well,
They
and they
stopped Todd
completely killed Todd Gurley's chances when LA was on the field. That's the one part of the game that they controlled.
By the way, how
completely.
good is Jared Goff when Todd Gurley's not able to run the football?
Well, how good is
Dude,
any how good is any quarterback when they can't run the football?
That's an unfair thing to say.
Stafford is literally holding this team up with his arm. They cannot run the football.
Oh, wait, so let's flip the
At
script. Does
all.
that make Stafford a great quarterback? Because he's able to be pretty good without a running game?
I think he's a good quarterback.
He's definitely up.
I've never said he wasn't a good quarterback.
Yeah, and I think he's
the only guy that you on this team that you cannot say has not been consistent and not his fault on a week in and week basis. He's going out and he's playing pretty well in every game, given the circumstance that he has to basically try to run it and throw on 3rd and 7 every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought he was pretty average yesterday, but out of all the games from this year,
they had a couple.
I'm not going to say anything bad about
Matt
Matt
Stafford.
Stafford.
Decent chunk plays that they needed to have at crucial moments. I mean, I will say this: I thought the tail end of that drive that led to the game-winning field goal.
Our job is to win games.
I thought, I don't know if any of those plays were checked into by Stafford, but I thought the play calling the last 2 or 3 plays of that drive were not very good.
No,
they're pretty poor.
I hate that this team just cannot run the ball between the tackles.
Oh, it kills creativity.
There's nothing. It
kills creativity because teams can just game plan to stop your passing game because they know they don't have to worry about the run. Yep. You're not going to go anywhere. It's awful.
Yeah, Stafford was actually really efficient yesterday.
He's been pretty decent. He's been decently efficient all year.
21 for 31, 299, 2 TDs, no interceptions. It's a good game.
Yeah.
Cool. Have fun on Thanksgiving Day.
Amir Abdullah, 2 yards of carry against the Bears. 2 yards of carry.
I've said it multiple times already this year, but this team needs a running back.
Yep.
Like, I understand the offensive line has to play a part. I get that, but you still need a guy who can make yards happen.
A play every once
That's
in a while.
a fun conversation you can have about Bob Quinn.
What's that?
In a a year where the draft was loaded with
running backs.
He
didn't take any.
You didn't get one.
You can have
have
Alvin Kamara. You could have
you got the
Kareem Hunt.
You could have Kareem Hunt. You could have
you could have Dalvin Cook. No, you can have Dalvin Cook.
no.
Could have if he traded up, but that's about it.
Who's the other one? McCaffrey was gone.
What does he do? He goes out and he takes the corpse of Tease Tabor
Well, no.
to come in and
Hold
play
on.
cornerback.
What pick did Dalvin Cook go? I already forgot.
He might have went.
He went before their pick in the second round.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you'd want a running back bad enough, you could take him in the first.
Or you
That's
could
what
have
I'm
traded up to get him. But no, you took Tease Tabor.
Jeez.
A guy who might not ever see the field.
He's been on the field the last 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's been inactive for, what was it, 6 weeks?
He was their best pass rush yesterday.
Yeah, he was forced into the game.
Literally.
Because Diggs was out, I believe. I didn't see much of Diggs.
All right, so
Dude,
you
that dude
drafted a
hammers
guy who can only see the field when Quandre the Giant goes out.
It's rookie year. There's these are the best cornerbacks the Lions have had in at least a decade.
Maybe
longer.
More, yeah.
Maybe longer.
Your second round pick, you got to get on the field.
You would think that, but if guys are like Nevin Lawson is playing at a high level,
especially if you're maybe not him personally, but as an organization, you've got to think he's going to be on the field.
He'll be
as a second round pick.
He'll be big time in the rotation next year.
yeah, DJ Hayden will probably be.
Well, he's got to learn to run a little
either
bit.
Hayden or Lawson or both will probably be gone.
Yeah,
Lawson.
Depending if he gets paid or not, Lawson gets paid or not.
Well, I don't think Quinn's going to pay him.
Tease Tabor's got to
not
not run like a duck or a sloth in order to see the field more because the dude is slow.
But against the Vikings, it's really. It's going to be stop the run, and because I think the corners are going to be fine. I think the secondary with even with Diggs and Thielen, they'll be fine against those guys. They held them down in the first game, but they'll be able to run the ball.
They were a different football team in the first game.
Well, I mean, look, they're elite receiver.
Not really.
The Lions were a different football team.
Oh, the Lions were a different football team.
The Vikings' elite receiver is Stephon Diggs. He'll have Slade draped all over him all game, and that'll be fine. Slade's been one of the top 3 cornerbacks in the league all year, statistically speaking. And yeah,
that's all right.
And Diggs has been great. Diggs will push Thielen at the line. He'll force him to be physical. That'll be fine.
That's right. They'll put Robert Smith in a wheelchair in the backfield and he'll rush for 230 yards.
It'll be Zach Rudolph catching balls left and right over
Kyle Rudolph.
Kyle Rudolph over
That'll be
Tahir
fine.
Whitehead. That's what I'll be doing. I'm calling that now. Touchdown by Rudolph over Whitehead. I'm calling that right now. It's going to happen.
No, I think it'll be over Davis.
Possibly.
How many of the Lions win by? 30, 40?
No. I don't even know.
Also, I have a feeling
will pick on
that
this game.
Eric Ebron at some point in the game is going to get laid out by Harrison Barnes.
Yeah, he might die.
He's going to just get blitzed. by
It'll be
Harrison
on a
Barnes.
play where he quits.
He hasn't dropped a ball in like 2 games.
Now he's going to drop every single one.
It's a
Jeff,
positive.
thanks. Good job.
It's a positive.
Good job.
You want to talk about not running the football? How about Jeff's other team?
Yeah. Jeez.
Which other team?
Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Can't
I mean,
run the
he's got 2 other teams. He's
Can't
got,
run the
he's got
football.
They
Pats.
can't run the football.
Can't run the football. Can't throw the football. They can run the football against bad teams. Literally can't go anywhere against good teams. But I will say this. If I were Wisconsin and I am looking at Michigan's offense and I'm looking at Brandon Peters in like his 4th game where this is the only time he's actually going to have to throw in the entire, in all the games that he's played, of course I'm just going to stack the box and bring pressure because I want to make this, freshman basically beat me. So them not being able to run the ball is partially due to the young quarterback, not necessarily.
I agree with this decision.
But
You know what I took out of
they
this game?
still have to try to run the ball and be effective somewhat with it.
You know what I felt from this game as a Michigan fan? Rage.
Why?
Rage. Here's why. Because this is yet another game where Michigan in Jim Harbaugh's tenure just gets run up and down the football field by a top 10 team. When does your $9 million coach come in to a football game against a good team, a highly ranked team, and play a respectable game. Yeah. When do we get to see that, and when do we get to start getting on Jim Harbaugh's ass for not doing it?
I mean, already?
Now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Once it was what, 17-10 when Peters went out?
Yeah.
Once that moment happened, as soon as Peters went out, the game was over.
See, I thought you were going to come with, well, it was 7-7 at halftime. They were in it.
No, I just think there was the only opportunity there was to win that game or make it even really close was with Peters on the field. Once he was off the field, John O'Corn isn't getting you anything. So that game was dead when Peters went out of the game.
But here's the thing. We shouldn't even have to be talking about this.
You're right.
Like, why are we
should have a quarterback.
Why are we even talking about a Jim Harbaugh offense that literally can't do anything against anybody of any amount of skill? Because, newsflash, Wisconsin's not that good.
No. They are that good.
Really not as good as their 10-0 record says they are. They have played a cupcake schedule to the nines that you would not even believe.
Yeah. Well, we'll see when they play Ohio State.
But then which Ohio State team shows up in that game?
Yeah, that's true. Probably the Ohio State team that crushes Michigan.
So if you're
this week.
so if you're going up against a 10-0 team,
they're going to leave the state of Michigan just bloodied and bruised.
If you're going to go on the road against a 10-0 team that's really more like a 7-3 team most years, and you're not even going to play a competitive football game, what would this be? You're 80. You'd be about 85% done with your third full season as Michigan head coach, and you were supposed to be the Messiah.
Yep.
Like, am I an asshole for asking these questions?
No, you're not. I think everybody's thinking. You're not going to fire the guy.
No, and that's not what I'm calling for.
It's really how much. It's just like every game plan. He's out game planned in every game. I haven't seen a game where he went out there and out-coached the other good coach. It's like when James Franklin, when they played Penn State. It's like, how big of the talent is there a discrepancy? It's not that far. Michigan isn't that far behind in talent.
Oh, but they've got a young offensive line.
Yeah, they're not that far in talent. It's just like Ohio State last year when they were super young. They weren't that far back in talent.
And I can't do the...
And a good coach will game plan the best of your ability. You cannot put 2 tight ends, no wide receiver, 4 tight ends, no wide receivers, try to run the ball and get 1 yard.
Line up and run the ISO. Ask Dave over here how that works with Dave Werner. Line up on 3rd and 2 in the I formation and run the stretch play to the right side. Let's see how well that works.
Well, it worked fine this week. That's because Maryland sucks.
Defense won't see that coming. And I can't do that. Well, this is a young team thing. This is college football. This is big-time college football, right? Young players under good coaches get better as a season goes on. You know what this offensive line has done?
Nothing.
I'm gonna give you a fun number here. Where did it go? Where'd my fun number go?
It's a young team, Michigan State.
1.6. Do you have any idea what that number represents?
With the something about the offensive line?
Yards per carry yesterday for the University, or on Saturday for the University of Michigan. Yards per carry. It was like 56 yards on 37
I thought that was
fucking
be like
carries.
Sacks allowed per quarter.
Jeez.
Oh, I'll give you another fun number regarding this offensive line. 3. Any idea what that number represents?
Number of quarterbacks.
The number of quarterbacks that you have gotten murdered. 2 of them physically and 1 of them mentally. Oh. But that is what has happened with this Michigan offensive line. They've gotten no better as the years go on.
You guys think that John O'Corn's going to be able to go in and pull the Damian Terry and Tyler O'Connor from a couple years ago?
No.
And
this is how much. I don't even know if I'm going to watch that game.
It's going to be rough.
I don't even know if I care to watch it. I don't see a point in watching it. I don't think they have a chance. It's not going to ruin Ohio State's season. It has literally no impact at all. I think I can find something better to do on a Saturday.
I mean, other than the fact that Uncle Herb likes to make us his bitch.
Yeah. So I can watch Harbaugh get crushed into the ground again. It's like, fuck.
Poor Lando Calrissian was so depressed about Michigan, he decapitated himself.
They're not even going to hang. Last year's game was amazing, right? They could have won on on a call that could have went either way.
And here's the thing, too. Last year, that was your shot. Instead of this, it's always been with Michigan fans next year. Oh, we got them next year.
They were probably better than Ohio State was, talent-wise.
But you know what people do? Oh, the T.J. Barrett play, it shouldn't have been a first down.
No,
but that's the thing. That's the thing about college football. That's the thing about big-time college football. You can make an excuse every single year. There's always some sort of an excuse you can make. What you need is that year where there is no excuse, or those multiple years where you don't need an excuse. Dave, as a Michigan State fan, for years, it was excuses for Michigan State. Well, they don't have the talent. Well, they don't have this. Well, John L. Smith's a moron. And all of a sudden, Mark D'Antonio comes in, and instead of hearing reasons why Michigan State barely missed, you heard reasons why they went to the Rose Bowl. You heard reasons why they went to the playoff. There weren't excuses, and I'm tired of fans of my team constantly every year under Harbaugh so far, every year under Hoke, every year under Rich Rod. There's always an excuse. There's always some reason they didn't get. I'm tired of fucking hearing it. I'm done with it.
An example in referencing to Michigan State is like that year that Michigan State went to the playoff. There were some games in that season, as good as Michigan State was. There were some very hairy games that year, and obviously the Michigan game included.
But you won.
They maybe should have. I mean, that one was a freakish play. But there were some other. I mean, even the Big Ten championship game, that game was not decided till the final minutes.
But stuff
Michigan
like that,
State found a way to win because good teams find ways to get things done.
You know what that did? Like things like that did, considering Michigan State went 3-9 last year.
Yeah.
What you talked about, those seasons prior to going 3-9, gave you the ability to make excuses for 3-9 because you had done it. You had been there. You had won a Big Ten championship. You'd been to the playoff. You're allowed to have a bad year. Harbaugh's not allowed to do that shit. And if he goes out next year, I swear to God, Jeff, if they don't find a way to get to Indy next year, and I mean this. This is a 1-year deal for him at this point. I'm out. Because you don't pay a coach $9 million a year to come in and compete with Nick Saban as the greatest coach in college football 4 years into a tenure and never even play for a Big Ten championship.
Yeah, he was better with Stanford.
He was.
Why? Because he had his quarterback.
Yeah, because he had a quarterback, and he doesn't have a quarterback here. That's what you paid him to do.
I got news for you.
Come here and get a quarterback, play tough football.
You guys will be going up against a much tougher Michigan State team next year.
Yeah.
Too.
Well, I mean,
as well as Ohio State.
I think the team itself is loaded with talent. All right, I'm not going to say that I don't think this team is loaded with talent, and I don't want to say that next year, this offensive line isn't going to be better, or that the secondary,
it better be,
is so young. I mean, they're starting all freshman wide receivers.
1.6.
They're starting all freshman wide receivers. So I think that next year they will get better. They will grow. This team has
number of wins per million?
Under Harbaugh, players have developed. So it's not like they're just devoid of talent or they're not developing. Almost like with Brady Hoke, where Brady Hoke had all those high recruiting classes, but he didn't develop the talent, and so they sucked.
So you've reached one more step.
They're missing. If you get a good quarterback, like look how much Lewerke changed Michigan State's season from last year to this year. They had a quarterback that was good, and he played well the whole year, and they upset Penn State, and they beat Michigan, and they had a good season so far this year.
Yeah,
compared to last season.
Well,
right?
you can look to Brian Lewerke for some semblance of hope, because if you remember correctly, last season when Lewerke was thrust into the role,
he was not very good.
He was pretty bad.
Yeah,
and
so all I'm trying to say is
Brandon Peters hasn't looked. We don't really know that much about him. He hasn't thrown that many passes.
Well, I mean, digressing slightly, but Lewerke also didn't get a full chance to even get extra development last year because of the broken leg.
Yeah.
I mean, he there's no doubt in my mind he 100% would have been the starter the rest of the season had he not broken his leg, because their quarterback play outside of him was so
much
bad.
like Brandon Peters getting crushed, and he'll be out.
Yep, probably.
He'll be out, and you're not gonna. And he played this 3 cupcake where we had to run the ball 40 times, you win the game.
I think he only threw like 4 passes the whole 3 games.
So it's like, you don't really know what you got out of him. But if you can get a quarterback and get, the receivers an extra year, they're all freshmen aside from Grant Perry.
Life is not a fairy tale.
You get this in the offensive line another year together. They had lost Glasgow, and they had lost Bredesen, and they had lost a bunch of guys. So you think that with a quarterback, the team will be a little bit better. Now, Why we don't have a quarterback thus far is beyond me. But we'll see. I mean,
this is a weird year, a very interesting year to make comparisons between Michigan and Michigan State too, because in a lot of ways there's a lot of similarities.
Yeah.
I mean, they both lost a ton of seniors. Now, granted, the Michigan senior class was much more talented than the senior class Michigan State lost, but you lost a lot of senior leadership,
which is why you should have gotten it done last year.
And I mean, looking even at Michigan State right now, anybody who knows football and knows athletic talent knows that Michigan is especially defensively, specifically. I mean, I think offensively too, to a certain degree, but especially defensively, is far superior from an athletic standpoint than Michigan State. But that goes back to the whole coaching thing. I mean, obviously everybody knows I'm a State fan, but I don't think I'm tooting Mark D'Antonio's horn here to say that he has developed his players very well. He has a history of doing that, and the Michigan State defense, which had a couple of down years. I mean, not even just last year, but the year before that even, they had gotten away from their no-fly zone. And, I mean, God, I can't believe – it's amazing to me that both of the safeties from their team last year, who had so much talent coming in and just did not perform at all, in my opinion.
Right.
Both are in the NFL because athletics always seems to win out.
Yeah.
And then you look at this year, you look at the two safeties they have this year who are nowhere near as athletically gifted, but they clearly are smarter, more intelligent football players, and they're way better.
Yeah.
And they know technique, and they are sound with their assignments. And Michigan State as a team has gotten better as the years gone on, obviously outside of the Ohio State game, where Ohio State came in prepared and pissed off and saying, fuck you guys, we're going to run right through you. And they did.
All I know is I'm tired. And I'm not making any excuses for Jim Harbaugh.
No,
very frustrating.
And it's so frustrating because it's really just one side of the ball. Because the defense is very good for Michigan.
Defense has been fine.
And Michigan's offense can't get out of its own way. It puts the defense in bad positions. It turns the ball over. It goes 3 and out often. It doesn't sustain drives. I mean, it's just the defense is out there all the time.
You know what's funny,
just get
too?
Beat down.
Not to say he doesn't get paid handsomely, because he does. They all do. But Don Brown is the least well paid of your major coaching
he's the best
guys,
one.
and he's the guy getting the most out of his players by far.
I'm pretty sure Pep Hamilton's just eating.
I don't know what the hell he's doing.
He's just eating Cracker Jacks
You
up there
got
in the booth.
3 offensive coaches making over $1 million.
I'm talking about Pep Hamilton for us. Tim Drevno calls the plays.
Not been good.
Not been good at all. And
but I understand what he's saying about Pep, because Pep is supposed to be helping with the quarterback play too, and that doesn't seem to be going anywhere.
No, but John O'Corn wasn't good last year. Wilton Spate got hurt. I mean, he could have gotten better.
And was worse this year.
He was.
But, okay, you think that, but he could have gotten better over time. So we don't really know.
I guess, but I'm only going with what I saw.
No, he wasn't good with what you saw, but he could have gotten better over time. He was not bad last year. And you would think Peters clearly was better than O'Corn. Peters just clearly, how is he not the one? Figure out where he was lacking and get him out there and get him comfortable.
Whatever. Overall, it's toilet. And I'm done with the Harbaugh hype. I'm done with the going to have sleepovers with the kickers who can't make an extra point.
Yeah, no more defending. There's no more defending.
It's done. It's done. Sending autographed dildos to the Pope or whatever the hell he was doing. In Italy, all that was all adorable, and I'm over it. For a while I said, whatever, it's fine as long as he wins. But now it's not fine because he's not winning.
Yeah.
And that's why it's that's the end of it. Geoff. Before we go to break, gentlemen, Geoff, everybody, would you like to partake in our 4th and medium segment?
Sure.
You're going to partake?
You
can't beat Mike. Nobody ever beats Mike.
I'll partake. I think I beat Mike last time we played this last
Are we
time.
playing it now?
Are we?
Kane is in the
I just asked you.
I was going to say it's weird.
Are we playing football?
That's what I'm saying to you.
I'm a man.
We have picks, too.
It's
weird if I win and I have been
offensively.
watching the
We've
least
got to be
amount of
the
football
dumbest
I've
team in America.
All you're guessing is Dan's stupid opinions.
Stupid to do what your coach failed you.
It's time for 4th and medium.
Yeah, why do...
This 4th and long.
I know he's in the power chair. But, I mean...
You just talked over that whole thing.
That's fine, I don't give a shit. Why do we have to be forced to tell him his own damn opinion? Because he can't think for himself?
You have to guess it. You have to guess my opinion.
I think he makes it up on the spot.
We haven't played this game in quite some time. We haven't done Monday shows in quite some time. Part of it was because of Packers Lions and Monday Night Football. Part of it is because I had to, go to court.
Yep.
But here we're back, and this is our fun game where these gentlemen try to tell me what the fuck my opinion is.
Exactly.
Sometimes they're right, sometimes they're wrong, sometimes I make them right, sometimes I make them wrong. We start as we always do.
That seems like source of collusion there.
With first down.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just watching Geoff pick at his beard.
Yeah.
The AFC West, gentlemen, with a question mark and an exclamation point. Is that all I really need to say about that particular division? The Chiefs started the season 5-0 and are now 6-4 with a loss to a team that is comprised of dead guys in the New York Giants this past week. The Raiders are 4-6. The Chargers are 4-6. This is a division that we talked about at the beginning of the year as a division that could and should be the best in the game of football.
Yeah.
Not looking like that's the case.
No.
Who wants to win this thing? And who's going to win this thing? Who wants to go first?
I'll go. Still the Chiefs. They're still. I look. They've had a few rough weeks, and this week was by far the worst of those. But as we know, the NFL is a fickle animal, and it seems like every team, except for those really special squads, like that the 16-0, well, technically 17-1, New England Patriots several years back, and the 15-1 teams. Every so often, there's a team that'll do that. But for the most part, I mean, the Eagles might do that this year, but every so often you get those guys. But for the most part, you get a lot of 10-6. You get a lot of 9-7, sometimes 11-5. It's got a lot of grouping is in there, and that's a pretty damn good season for most teams. I still think the Chiefs are going to get somewhere in that range, and I don't see any of the other teams in this division getting anywhere close to that because they all have so many
We
holes.
can pretty much eliminate the Broncos.
Yeah.
Well, yes, but they're abysmal right now. But yeah, I don't see any way that it's not going to be the Chiefs. I think that you think that too. I don't feel like I need to say that all the time.
Yeah, I'm gonna back it up. And, I mean, just looking at these standings right now, Broncos for sure. That's way out there.
He's out.
Yeah, you're gonna say the Chiefs.
All right, Geoff.
I know that after yesterday's debacle in Mexico City, watching the zombie of Derek Carr play, there is no way that you back your beloved Raiders. So I will agree with those two gentlemen. I think the Chiefs, just because they have a 2-game lead, they're going to be hard to beat down the stretch because all the teams are bad. So I'll go with the Chiefs.
Well, you have to consider this. The Raiders have a game in hand against the Chiefs. They've beaten the Chiefs. They still have to play the Chiefs one more time. However, I am going to say that it is still the Chiefs.
Yeah.
But be very careful when talking about the Los Angeles Chargers. Because I looked at these remaining schedules, and the Chiefs they're home against the Bills, which for whatever
the
reason...
Nathan Peterman Bills?
Yeah, for whatever reason,
Taylor
the
Bills.
worst mistake in the history of football, benching Tyrod Taylor. They've got the Bills at home, on the road at the Jets. They've got the Raiders at home. They've got the Chargers at home, Dolphins at home, and then on the road against the Broncos. Pretty mediocre schedule left for the Chiefs. The Chargers, I had this up earlier. Where'd it go? The Chargers have a Dallas team at home or on the road this Thursday on Thanksgiving that can't score. They are then at home against the Browns, at home against the Redskins, on the road to the Chiefs, at home against the Jets, and then home against the Oakland Raiders. The Raiders have the toughest remaining schedule, and it's not that tough.
The Eagles.
They're home against the Raiders, or I'm sorry, the Broncos, home against the Giants, on the road at the Chiefs, home against the Cowboys, on the road to the Eagles, that's a tough one, and then on the road at the Chargers. all have very mediocre schedules left. The lone tough game being the Raiders at the Eagles.
Yeah.
But don't sleep on the Chargers right now.
No.
Be careful. But for now, yes, it is still certainly the abysmal Kansas City Chiefs. God, what happened to that division? We moved to second down, gentlemen. The Auburn Tigers are 8-2, sitting at number 6 in the playoff rankings.
The team I always shit on.
If they were to knock off Bama in the Iron Bowl this weekend, where in the rankings should Auburn sit? And let's
number 6 in the playoff ranking
yes,
right now?
and let's assume, because if they beat Bama, they're going to be in that top 4. So within that top 4, where does Auburn rank if they find a way to beat Alabama on Saturday?
I'll take it. That's slightly a loaded question because the committee factors in so many things. They're still undefeated, right? Or do they have one loss?
Bama is undefeated.
No, Auburn.
Auburn has 2 losses.
They have 2 already. I thought they only had 1. Okay. I'm going to go with where my gut was on this and say I think they would move up to 3. I still think the committee loves Clemson, and Clemson did what they were supposed to do this past weekend against, I understand, a shitty team, but they trounced them like you're supposed to. So Clemson will still be right there, probably number 2, would probably be number 2, and then Oklahoma's number 1 right now, are they not? As of last week? Didn't they put, or is Oklahoma number 2?
Oklahoma's number 4. Alabama's 1.
Alabama, then
Clemson is 2. Miami's 3.
Miami was 3. So I think they would bump Miami out and put Miami to number...
undefeated Miami team.
Wait, didn't they just lose to Virginia this week?
No, they won. They came back and won that game.
I didn't see the end result of that game then because I thought they lost. I
hate the ACC.
Okay,
so
I'm going 3. I'll put Clemson at 4, Miami up to 2, Auburn at 3. Or I'm sorry, Oklahoma would stay where they are. Auburn up to 3.
Miami to 2.
Miami
Clemson
to 2.
to 1.
Clemson to 1. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So 3.
All right. I hate to ask this. What was I'm trying to follow the rankings.
Yeah.
And what teams are playing that you were?
Alabama.
It's the Iron Bowl.
If
Alabama
Auburn beats Alabama is what he's asking.
If
basically.
Auburn beats Alabama,
where in the top 4? We're assuming that they would move into the top 4.
We have to assume that Alabama would fall out of the top 4 with a loss to Auburn as well.
Why? They only have 1 loss.
Yeah.
To a top 4 team.
They're not a top 4 team right now.
They would be.
It's fun. It's funny.
That's what I'm saying. There's no guarantee Bama falls out of that top 4.
Well, maybe Bama goes 4.
Ooh.
Well, that wasn't what he asked, though, so I don't care.
God, man. Oh, shit. I would say probably move Auburn up to, what, number 3 maybe?
That's what Dave said.
And move Auburn up. Yeah, but Alabama would. They got to still stay in the top 4, even with
they
one
might.
loss.
Somebody's got to move out.
I know.
Probably Oklahoma.
More than likely Oklahoma. Yeah.
But Auburn. Yeah. Move Auburn up to 3, and Oklahoma out.
Who you got, Geoff? Where you got Auburn?
I think Auburn goes to 4.
Or where do I got Auburn?
I think Clemson would go to 1. Alabama would go to 2. Oklahoma would slide up 1 spot to 3. Miami would fall out, and they'd put Auburn at 4.
Miami would fall out.
Yeah. I don't think Miami has any real signature wins.
Honestly?
Except for Notre Dame. That's it, really.
You're all wrong.
What did you say?
He said 4.
Okay.
I don't think they'll be here, but I just want to say this first. I do think there is an argument to be made that the Auburn Tigers could be the number 1 team in the playoff ranking if they beat Alabama. And there's a few reasons for that. One is they will have beaten the number 1 team in the nation not once, but twice in the same season because they've already taken out Georgia. And one of their 2 losses came against Clemson in a 14-6 battle on the road. Now, the part that's tough is that you lost to LSU. But LSU turning out to be slightly better than they looked mid-season here. But I think Auburn moves to 2. And I really want to see them move to 1. And I think there's an argument to be made for that, even with 2 losses.
You never know. I think there is an argument to be made.
I would love to see it. I'll tell you what, if they go out and they beat Alabama somehow handily, meaning by
2 touchdowns?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should be number 1.
I could see an argument for that, yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'll be at 2. I think you'll have Miami stay where they are. You'll have Clemson move up to 1. You'll have Bama at 4. Oklahoma falls out. And Auburn moves to number 2. And for all the Wisconsin people that are going to lose their minds, calm down. Clemson and Miami still have to play in the ACC championship game. And by the way, your team's not that good. Just saying.
Still have to play Ohio State. They beat them.
Now, if they beat them, now we have a different story. No. We move to 3rd down, gentlemen. Rain Dakota Prescott, a.k.a. Dak, has thrown for 321 yards, no touchdowns, and 3 interceptions in his 2 games without Ezekiel Elliott. The Cowboys have found pay dirt only once in those 2 games since losing Zeke. Is it possible that Dak Prescott's just not that good? It's only 2 games, but this is 4th and medium, so we have fun.
Can I go first?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's very possible. I was saying he wasn't that good last year. I was saying the only reason that he's good is because he's the best running back and the best offensive line and a pretty good defense. And guess what? All that stuff's starting to crumble. He don't look all that good now, does he? So, no. It's very possible that he's not that good. And I think you don't think he's that good.
Keep in mind, I do like the Cowboys.
That doesn't mean anything.
You're right. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, you think that he's probably not that good. I didn't think he was that good either last year. But I just think that defenses are finding ways to play him tighter, and they're scheming. But it does hurt that their best offensive weapon is now out. So
yeah, he looks like Stevie Wonder trying to read a defense out there. Terrible.
You do me
Sammy
a favor.
Davis Jr. with 1 eye.
You do me a favor, real quick. It's not going to change my opinion, but I just wanted to hear. Give me his numbers again. I heard the Zeke Elliott part, but tell me what are his passing numbers?
321 yards, no touchdowns, 3 interceptions in the last 2 games.
All right. Okay, first of all, before I get too long-winded, I'm in agreement with these guys. You probably don't think he's that great. I do want to say one thing though. I don't know. I believe it has to do with Zeke Elliott, but I also think it cannot be understated. Losing Tyron Smith hurts you a lot. He's a very good offensive lineman, and that greatly affects the way everything runs. We saw firsthand when you lose one of your top tackles. Obviously, for us, it was Taylor Decker, and what a difference that makes in our offensive line. It changes a lot of things. There's certain things you just can't run. You can't run because the guy that's in there to take that starter's place just isn't good enough to get that job done. So I think that might, in a weird way, at least for the team as a whole, I think that might even be a bigger loss than Zeke Elliott because they've got a couple of pretty good running backs back there still. But long story short, yes, I believe that he is maybe not as good as some people thought he was last year.
Just okay. Very possible that he's just okay.
All right.
I mean, I don't think he's a game manager, but I think he might not be elite.
I think he's a hell of an athlete, and I think put in the right circumstances, he's excellent, as we saw last year.
Yeah.
I mean, what did it take him? Like 100 and something pass attempts before he finally threw an interception.
It was.
I mean, I don't think he's got an issue thinking the game, but I do think that when you have an offense that removes a weapon like Ezekiel Elliott, and you don't have the same best offensive line in football that you had last year, yeah, as a young quarterback, you're going to have some problems when you don't have any crutches to lean on. Does that mean he can't get better? Doesn't mean that. But yes, it's very possible that he's just okay. We moved to fourth down. Very simple on this one, guys. Vance Joseph shit-canned Mike McCoy as the Broncos offensive coordinator earlier today. Was this anything more than a scapegoat firing?
I'll take this one.
Sure.
For two reasons. Or I shouldn't say for two. First of all, this was not Vance Joseph. This was John Elway all the way, 100%. And number two, absolutely was a scapegoat firing.
Is that what you believe?
Because that is all John Elway does. He runs through coaches. The only guy he would have kept was Gary Kubiak, who decided he wanted to retire, which is totally in his right.
It's almost like the guy won a Super Bowl or something.
Yeah, it's almost like he did some really good things.
That's it for me.
But no, and I would say this right now. It's probably unlikely, but it would not throw me completely for a shock if after this abysmal season that the Broncos have had, if Vance Joseph gets thrown under the bus at the end of the year and gets canned.
It's his first year.
I know.
That would be something.
It would be.
Okay, sure. And can they get rid of Brock Osweiler in the process because he sucks?
They need a quarterback.
And Trevor Siemian while they're at it.
Oh, that's true. I forgot about him.
I was going to say, of course he's a scapegoat because John Elway looks ridiculous because he drafted Paxton Lynch, ran out there with Trevor Siemian, and traded and got Brock Osweiler, or re-signed Brock Osweiler. Of course he's a scapegoat. All those quarterbacks are terrible, and he's the one who put them on the field. So, of course, Mike McCoy, oh, you didn't do anything with them. See you later. Scapegoat. No, you put him on the team, you idiot. Fire Mike McCoy. So you're like, hey, it wasn't my fault. He just couldn't coach him.
Isn't it funny how the former Hall of Fame quarterback can't identify a good quarterback?
What do you think, Mike?
He just got
Scapegoat
Peyton
firing?
Manning. Like, he got Peyton Manning. Like, what?
Lucked into it.
I'm going to agree with them, scapegoat.
It's definitely a scapegoat firing. I feel like that was kind of a softball that I threw you guys there. Because look, first of all, I think Vance Joseph's a buffoon. I think he was a terrible hire to begin with. I don't think he's a good football coach. He looks lost on the sideline most times. And honestly, I really think you probably should have just, if you were going to do anything, just go ahead and make Mike McCoy your head coach to start with.
Probably
would have been the better decision. But all I can say is this. Mike McCoy, if you're out there listening, you got out of a dumpster fire of a situation and should be able to find a better job, even if you have to go be a quarterback's coach somewhere for a year or two before you get another coordinator job or head coaching job. Because I think I have respect for Mike McCoy. I think he's a decent coach.
Well. He did a good job in San Diego. Yeah. He did fine.
It was just another situation where there's just not enough talent at enough spots on the field. And if you think Mike McCoy is going to turn Trevor Siemian or Brock Osweiler into some Pro Bowl caliber quarterback, get the fuck out of here.
Literally, they're just clones of each other. They're all 6'6".
They are.
Can't move buffoons.
It's like their head coach.
Yeah. Jeez.
Does anybody know?
Or Dave's mistresses.
Does anybody know if the Broncos during their interview process for their head coaching job this past offseason, did they interview Anthony Lynn? Was he on that? Was he in that interview process as well? Anybody know?
I don't remember.
I have no idea.
Because if they did, they should have hired him.
Yeah.
I think he's a better coach.
How about Sean McVay?
You know what the crazy part is? I don't know how many interviews he actually got.
Doesn't Sean McVay kind of remind you of PJ Fleck?
A little bit.
The way their mannerisms, they're both young guys.
A little bit. He looks like a fucking genius right now, though, doesn't he?
He really does.
Amazing.
He really does.
You know, it's funny. When he got hired, I remember thinking to myself, like, what have I done with my life that this dude is like 2 years older than me and he's got a head coaching job in the NFL? But then I'm thinking, like, even take it back a couple of years.
And coaching the resurgence of the greatest show on turf.
How did he at 28 or whatever he would have been, how did he get an offensive coordinator job in the first place? How do you get to that level that fast? It's incredible.
We chose the wrong profession.
It's incredible.
We all do.
Speaking of, I know we're going to quit, but speaking of, because we talked about
we're just going to quit.
Well, we're going to quit this segment.
Show's over.
I quit a long time ago.
We know.
No, but
you phoned it in.
I did.
Didn't show up till fucking 9:30 tonight.
Yeah, that's you know what? It's my world, man.
And we're just living in it.
That's exactly right. No, but speaking of the terrible quarterback situation in Denver, I'll tell you a way they can maybe get themselves out of it if they're smart enough and will pony up some money. Go get yourself Kirk Cousins. He's going to be the best quarterback in the market this offseason, and I think he would be way better than anything you got.
I think they could draft somebody. There's a few good quarterbacks coming out.
I think good enough to start right away and be better than what you have? I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know.
I think Josh Rosen is better than any of those guys.
Josh Rosen.
I'm not a Josh Rosen believer. I'm really not.
I think he's all right.
That's a scary thing if you think he's going to be like a top 10 pick and you think he's all right.
I mean, I don't want him.
I mean, I would like to say I think he's great. I don't
want him,
right.
but I think he's better than those three guys. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't take him over Stafford.
Well, it's not really saying a whole lot.
No.
We ready to go to break?
Yep.
It's almost Thanksgiving. We'll play a little Adam Sandler going out.
Thanksgiving special.
Yeah.
Get your turkey legs
We're
out.
not going to have a show Thursday. So now we don't have to worry about missing a show this week because it's just, we're all here. We're all here. We're all good to go.
Exactly.
I don't know exactly what we still have coming up. What else are we going to talk about? Oh, yeah, we got to do the picks. We need to cram both those segments into one show. It's a rough week for everybody. It's actually just a really mediocre week for everybody.
Here we go. Thanks, anyway.
Baker Mayfield suspended for one drive. Few details coming out about the Roy Halladay crash. Yeah, crash. That's what I wanted. Your high school is playing in the state championship too, Geoff.
Fuck yeah, they are.
We're very, very excited about
Go Pats.
Remarkable.
We'll have all that.
Go Pats.
That's the only reason he likes the New England Patriots.
Well, they Division 3 or 4? 2.
Division 2. They played Warrendale South.
All right.
You're listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. David Faze, Mike Tripp, Jeff Mel, myself, Dan Griffin. We're all here. SportsRadioDetroit.com. Do not go away.
Thanksgiving is a special night. Jimmy Walker used to say dynamite. That's right. Turkey with gravy and cranberry. Can't believe the Mets traded Darryl Strawberry. Turkey for you and turkey for me. Can't believe Tyson gave that girl VD.
Hey, this is Darren McCarty, 4-time Stanley Cup champion with the Detroit Red Wings. You're listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports on sportsradiodetroit.com.
I had a dream about this moment when I was making love to my wife, Donna.
I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one early morning in the dawn. Know you wanna ride now. I'm the one, yeah. I'm the one, yeah. Hear you sick of all those other imitators. Don't let the only real one intimidate ya. See you watching, don't run out of time now. I'm the one, yeah. Ooh, 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 ooh. I'm the one, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm the only one.
Yeah, welcome back. Out of Bounds Detroit Sports. David Faze, Mike Tripp, Jeff Mel, and myself, Dan Griffin. We've got a packed house here. Jeff still thinks the Lions are going to the Super Bowl. But we're over that now.
Are you?
I think we've come to terms. He's hopeful. I can't hate him. I can't hate him for being hopeful.
Well, Jeff thinks the Lions are fire, but then we saw what a real fire looks like.
That's so true. This giant fire in Auburn Hills or Orion Township or whatever the hell it is.
I think it's technically Orion Township.
It's confirmed as a gas line fire.
We can see it from my front porch.
Yeah. It's about, 6-7 miles away?
Jesus.
We can't see the flames themselves. They don't come up quite high enough to see
the
over
glow.
the trees. But you can see the glow. You can see lots of smoke.
And you can hear the jet engine sound.
Yeah. Never seen a fire light up the sky like that before, ever.
No.
I've seen many building fires, at different times.
Have you now?
But, several. I shouldn't say many.
I think Dave's admitting to being an arsonist.
Yep. I've lit several buildings on fire. I've seen a few fires, but I've never seen anything like that.
What's the update here, Mike? Any confirmed casualties?
No confirmed casualties. It just says it was a high-pressure gas main leak, and that officials are saying, stay the fuck away.
How far out is it? Are there like roads closed, I'm assuming?
Yeah. Here we go.
Good thing you guys have to all go the other way.
right?
To get out of here.
Yeah, officials are asking residents to avoid the area until the fire is out. The fire has died down, but there are still huge flames, bumper-to-bumper traffic, congesting nearby roads, and police have shut the area down. It's over at Brown Road between Joslin and Baldwin. So
Isn't that basically by Great Lakes Mall almost?
It's on the north side of I-75 there. It's right behind. There's the Meijer, Best Buy, Target. It's behind the Checkers. That's right there.
Jeez, man, that's.
Oh man, my old house in Clarkston, you'd probably be able to see all this shit,
right?
Absolutely.
Well, hopefully nobody's dead.
Yeah,
I did, and I was reading another thing earlier that, not surprisingly,
fire.
75 in both directions is it's not shut down, but it's basically at a standstill right now because
gawkers,
lots of gawkers right now.
What is
as you might expect?
There's a Costco Sam's Club is kind of on the opposite side of where Myers is, and somebody reported that they were outside of Sam's Club. Obviously, you're at a higher elevation, you can look dead at it pretty much, and they could feel the heat.
No shock. Yeah, like you said, Dan. It literally, we were standing out there on your porch, and literally sounded like a jet.
We just heard about it. Like, there's a giant fire at Joslin and Brown Road, and then Jeff and I walk outside to have a cigarette, and Jeff goes, "Is that it?"
Sure is.
Sure enough, that was it.
Right, definitely right.
Well, hopefully everybody's okay, and we can just we can have a good laugh about this for years and years to come. Remember that day?
I mean, it's not that funny, but whatever.
It's pretty crazy though. You don't see that.
Nuts, but I don't know if laughter is the emotion that I feel from it.
Dan's a sick individual.
What is funny? Have you guys watched this the video clip of the new fun Japanese game show?
I watched a little bit with you earlier.
Slippery Stairs. Did you see this?
No.
It's basically like the Power Rangers dressed up in latex trying to walk up a bunch of soaped stairs.
I have to climb like this.
It's so entertaining.
It's like 3-level staircase.
What's it called?
Slippery Stairs?
And they're in these latex costumes, and there's like oil and soap all over the stairs. And so they have to climb like hands and knees up this staircase, and then if they fall, they slip all the way back down.
Mike's watching it.
Yep. Of course, it's 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it's because no one can make it to the top. You really only have to watch a minute of it to get the way it works.
Don't they look like the Power Rangers though? Trying to get up to the top of the stairs.
I mean, it's genius.
When you were a kid, that's all you ever wanted was to see the Pink Ranger all soaped up and slippery.
Like, I don't think this show would fly in America. I don't think anybody would tune in more than once. But it's a great game to watch.
Hey, the Red Ranger, he's making progress, man. He's leading the charge.
He's chasing that ass.
Yeah.
Chasing that Pink Ranger ass.
I don't understand how he is so good on the stairs.
Oh, and the Green Ranger takes out the yellow and the orange. Oh, and the Red Ranger falls back down to earth. Oh, Rita Repulsa, she's at the top.
Now you know
down with you, Power Rangers.
Now you know why it's 9 minutes long. Because they're just
the Pink Ranger, she's actually she's up there.
The Red Ranger's the best. I think.
you got Billy the Blue Ranger. He's trying to make a charge now, and there's Jason. Oh, and down goes the Orange Ranger, even though there's no Orange Ranger. Oh yeah, this is actually pretty humorous.
Dave's looking it up.
No, I'm not.
What would make this show that much more awesome is if this were playing in the background when they were trying to climb the stairs.
Oh, the Red Ranger almost there. He's saying to himself, "Down with you, Rita." Oh,
It sucks so bad to be that close and go all the way back down.
Yeah.
Did you ever notice how racist the Power Rangers were, though?
Why was the black guy the Black Ranger?
Why was the yellow guy the yellow one the Asian chick?
Yeah, I know.
That was funny.
And the girl is pink and the guy is blue.
Yeah.
You know?
Who might have been gay? I think Billy was gay.
Billy was probably gay, but
Black guy plays the Black Ranger. The Asian chick plays the Yellow Ranger.
Wow, that's a pretty good burn there from our boy Chapman.
What'd he say?
He tagged somebody who had posted a video of the fire and it said, "Wow, take a look at the Cavs shot chart from tonight against the Pistons." Well done, Chapman. Well done.
That's too
Oh,
good.
that's good.
You said something about the Blue Ranger being gay.
Hey, it's Jake Chapman from Pistons.com.
Because in real life, he is gay.
I know.
Oh, okay.
And I think his character was gay.
I think it was.
Maybe there's just a gay guy
If
playing.
there's anything wrong with that.
Do you think it was just? Do you think maybe it was just perfect casting?
That's what I'm saying.
Apparently, that guy was an insufferable.
we need
asshole to work
we need
with.
ourselves a Yellow Ranger. Would you like to play as a
my
Yellow Ranger?
So you're saying the casting director was also Asian? Is that what you're getting at there?
Yes,
Apparently.
a racist Asian.
Yo,
Yes.
dog, we want you to play the Black Ranger. It's like, what?
They each had to be contacted by somebody similar to them.
Wasn't the Red Ranger like part Native American as well? I mean,
I
if you,
don't know.
we're going to pretend that that's
Jason?
the
That
case.
was
Yeah,
who it was?
The pink wasn't the Pink Ranger just a hot chick?
Yeah.
The
Kimberly.
hot white girl.
But it doesn't matter. The White Ranger was the shit.
I'd love to have a threesome with her and Alanis when I was about 10 years old.
What?
The Pink Ranger and Alanis Morissette, that would have been my dream threesome.
But
about-
yes, I agree.
And then
The White
you could've-
Ranger was the shit.
Accuse them of sexual assault fucking 25 years later.
Well, speaking of
That's
that,
where we are in this day and
speaking of
age.
the sexual assault stuff, I know I showed you guys this when we went to break, but it was too good not to comment on. We don't want to make a huge joke about the sexual harassment, sexual assault stuff that's been going on because it's not funny. But there is somebody that poses something with how insanely widespread it's become. You have to find, and every good comedian will do this, you have to find some humor in the situation.
Just ask Louis C.K.
Oh.
Ouch.
That was a good joke, Dan, by the way.
I went there.
Boom.
I went there.
But anyway, so somebody posted a photo today because the I think literally the latest person to be accused is one Charlie Rose, who's been on the air for 100 years, with his black curtain background. It's the most plain show you'll ever watch in your entire life. But somebody posted like a kind of a 4-part collage photograph.
montage?
Yes, of him interviewing Al Franken, him interviewing Jeffrey Tambor, him interviewing Louis C.K., and him interviewing Kevin Spacey, and captioned it with, "Is it possible he's patient zero?"
Jesus
like,
Christ.
I mean, it's rough, but at the same time, maybe?
Yep.
I mean, just perhaps.
on that hole's hound.
Maybe there really is a pedophile or sexual harassment
Attention.
ring.
We're
just like
looking
Alex
for the
Jones
chick
said.
with big boobs.
Maybe Alex Jones was right all along.
Interdimensional child molesters.
God, what world would we be living in when some of his shit starts
Maybe Kevin
becoming
Spacey's
true?
an
Interdimensional child molester?
yeah. Maybe.
Maybe he is.
I mean, he does
I
seem...
think we're getting somewhere.
He does seem pretty spacey.
God damn it.
I mean,
Dave.
it was there. It was there. I had to.
That's his pun.
That
of the
one doesn't
night.
even deserve a clap.
David Faze's pun of the night. That one right there.
I haven't had a pun of the night in a long time.
No, you haven't. It's been a
Kind of
while.
gave up that. I kind of gave up that that chair.
What have you become?
What have you become?
I don't know.
Where were we going to go with this segment?
Picks.
I don't know. I mean,
We're lost.
we felt like we had to address the fire situation, but
Yeah. Baker Mayfield got suspended for one series.
And he cried like a bitch.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Ooh, burn.
What the hell, bro? You told that guy to fuck himself.
And then
you
you grabbed
grabbed
your
your
dong.
junk, and then you cry about it? Stand behind your junk grab. All right? If you're going to get suspended, they didn't even care. They didn't even care that he did it. They were just like, all right, we have to suspend him for a drive. Because,
Against a bad team.
yeah, because, he did it. So we don't care, though, so.
Oh, no, but wait a minute.
This
He
is
wasn't
football.
just suspended for one drive, Jeff. He's also not named a captain for this week.
Dude. The streak is broken.
That's a pretty severe punishment for what Baker Mayfield did, making that very sexual gesture with children watching
Yep, it's inappropriate.
to the Kansas University squad.
Like what it's like in Trump's America. That's what it's like.
What was he upset about?
I don't know. He was just talking smack to Kansas.
Because Kansas. Oh, they snubbed him during the
They wouldn't
handshakes.
shake his hand. And then
They wouldn't shake his
they were
hand.
talking smack.
Now, wait a minute. So, okay, so who's the bigger bitch, Baker Mayfield or Kansas, for not shaking Baker Mayfield's hand?
Kansas.
Because they hate him.
That's why I'm saying
Kansas.
I'm all for Baker Mayfield right now.
I'm with you.
I think it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's hard not to like Baker Mayfield.
I know. He's such a dick.
He's out there and he's very unquarterback-dential, like Trump is for president.
That's what I like about him is he's a dick. Like he just has that like I don't give a fuck attitude where he's like I'm gonna plant my flag in the middle of your field and I'm gonna
plant my dick in your ass on the field.
Grab my dick at you and I'm gonna beat the shit out of your team.
That's quite the maneuver.
like there are certain guys that I just like love that arrogance. Like Gronk kind of has that arrogance. Gronk kind of has that arrogance a little bit.
Dan, is that what they refer to as an audible?
He's like a Johnny Manziel who can
Could
play.
never about fought Santino.
Oh, I can't wait for
You ever made eye
Brockmire
contact
season
with
2.
someone while they stuck a finger farther and farther up your butt?
Brockmire season 2.
It's coming.
I know it's gonna be great.
I think
That's
that
it's a show I forgot about. A lot of people have been asking me like, what show should I watch? And I should be saying Brockmire this whole time, but I keep forgetting.
Dan,
about
I think the dick in the ass on the field is what they call a check down.
That's 2 puns.
2 puns back to back almost.
Now you're just making up for
Boom.
months. Making up for months.
But at least those last two were actually good and not the spacey bullshit. I mean, it was out there, but I couldn't. I mean, it
Much
was,
like that gas leak, you're on fire, Dave.
Jeff getting it on the act. Oh man, now this just become pun central.
This is what happens when we have 4 people in studio and one of them's not Abe, because Abe writes the ship. He writes the listing ship
Yes. I haven't seen Abe since the show.
because he's got a gun.
I was gonna say he pulls out his sidearm and says, "Get in line, boys."
No,
Pull your pants down, baby.
it's terrible. Every time I see like a Detroit cop's been shot, I'm like, oh, don't be Abe. I
Really?
actually have,
That's what you
I have
think?
somebody with an invested interest. Yeah.
You call Abe immediately to
No.
make sure it wasn't him?
No. But I should. I really should. I have one.
I just
one
wait.
time.
Hey, baby, everything
I have one
okay?
time, but I worry for the guy. All right.
I wonder if he even has his phone on when he's
in
at
the
home. If he
streets.
just turns it off because he's worried that his wife's gonna worry about who's texting him or calling him.
Yeah. Yeah, because he does cheat on her often with us.
With podcasts.
Yeah. He goes and sticks a microphone in his mouth.
He's like I Love You Man. Like he sneaks away to go do a
Yeah.
fantasy baseball draft. Like that's the kind of guy he is.
No, that was
he's
that
not
was,
cheating. He's just hiding.
Wasn't that? That wasn't "I Love You, Man." That
No,
was
you're right.
that was what the hell is that? Knocked Up.
Knocked Up.
It was Knocked
Yep.
Up. Yeah.
Fucking
Paul
Catherine
Rudd.
Heigl. What a pain in the
Paul
ass.
Rudd.
What a. Yeah.
Both Paul Rudd movies.
Yes. Also hilarious.
Yes.
Also perfect casting for Ant-Man, by the way.
Yes.
Worked out wonderfully.
I got to get the Picks music ready, so you guys talk amongst yourselves.
We were until you interrupted us with.
I'm not
telling
stealing
us
anything. I'm
furniture.
giving something back that I stole.
All right, we can get to the picks now if you want.
Okay, let's do that.
If you would like. Mike, you can join in.
Wow! By the way,
us
random
some
thing
picks.
because we were talking about how the Celtics came back and won again. Danny Ainge tweeted out and said, "Maybe the world is flat."
I mean, that's him having his boys back, though. That's what that is.
With the strong arm emoji, and then he tweeted at Kyrie and hashtag Celtic World.
Okay, then.
Oh, okay.
Great, Danny.
I don't even know what to say to that. I feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is happening.
It's the first show, I think, that we've done Fourth and Medium and the picks in the same show. Now I got to find the picks.
It's a Thanksgiving extravaganza.
Yeah!
Do you really think the world is flat, or are they just really?
Yeah, Kyrie Irving really thinks the world is flat. That's the thing.
We're going to do it.
All right, on to picks.
Our standings are as such. Very mediocre week last week as Dave and I both going 2-2-1, while Jeff Mel goes 1-3-1.
Oh, I lost a game.
That one tie being, of course, your Detroit Lions being favored by 3 and winning by 3, giving us a push. The standings. Let's see. What do we have here?
You gained a game and Dave gained
I'm still in first place at 32.
He gained a game on you.
Yeah.
We both get games on you.
Yeah. But
and I think I'm now up on you by 1 game because I think we were tied.
You are. Yeah. I sit at 32, 22, and 1. Dave is 29, 25, and 1, 3 games back. And Geoff bringing up the rear at 4 games back. Wait a minute, that's not right.
That would be right.
No, I wrote down Jeff's number wrong.
I'd be 3 games back if you're 2 games back.
He said I'm 3 games back.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, then I'm 4
you're 4 games back.
So you would be 28, 24, and 1. For some reason, I wrote down 26.
That is correct.
That
Wait a
is
minute. So
correct.
you thought you said I'm 29, 25.
Yeah. And Geoff is
28,
20 and 24.
28, 20. Okay.
Come on, Dave. Do math.
I don't. That's why I'm in sales.
Math is hard.
It's not great.
Math is
I'm not a
hard.
big fan of it.
We're going to start the college game as we always do. I had a game written down to be number 1, but I'm going to save it for last because I think it's the most bestest. Like the Little Caesar's
Glorious.
pizza. It's got the most pepperoni and the most cheese.
Oh.
We'll go ahead and start in Piscataway, New Jersey. As Dave's Michigan State Spartans giving up 13 and a hook on the road to Rutgers. You want to go first, Geoff?
Yeah, give me Dave's sweet Michigan State Spartans.
It's not that easy. Rutgers' defense has been
Mike
okay.
actually gets to be part of the picks tonight if he wants
Here's
to
my
be.
reasoning.
Yeah, Mike can go.
Yeah.
Here's my reasoning. It's Rutgers.
What was the spread?
13 and a hook.
No. State.
All right, we'll save some time on this one.
Dave's going with Rutgers.
Yeah, no. Give me Sparty because, what'd you say, Geoff?
It's Rutgers. No.
Yeah, it was a softball. I'll take Michigan State. They're coming off a couple tough losses. I think they got some
tough lot. They won this week.
I'm sorry. They've come off a couple of tough games, I should say.
Yeah, there we go.
One of them being a loss.
One of them just being a shitty weather game that kind of caused some problems.
I think they've got some pride, and it's Rutgers. So give me Michigan State.
It shocked me to hear last week though when we were playing Maryland that a lot of the worst defensive statistics for the Big Ten were held by Maryland and not Rutgers. I was actually surprised to hear that.
Rutgers defense.
I know Maryland hasn't been great, but Rutgers seems so bad.
All hail DJ Durkin.
Yep, DJ's the man.
Then we go to we move to the junior varsity as Geoff Mel's Michigan Wolverines at home getting a full 12 against the Ohio State Buckeyes. We'll let you go first this time, Dave.
Yeah, give me the Buckeyes. This is gonna be embarrassing because I'm pretty sure Brandon Peters isn't gonna play, which would be about the only hope you'd have to make any semblance of a game out of it. Not that I think Michigan would really win, but I think with John O'Corn under center is gonna be an ugly look for Michigan. I don't think it's gonna be very close at all.
Fuck eyes.
One word for Mike. Fuck eyes.
Yeah, I second Mike's fuck eyes. And yeah, I don't really need to explain myself.
Boring trifecta here because or quadfecta in this particular
That sounds
instance.
almost sexual.
Michigan might not get more than 3 first downs in the entire.
I don't even know who the quarterback's going to be. So give me the Buckeyes.
Yep.
All right, here's the good one. Here's the good college matchup.
Funny enough, though, you know what the problem is? Not so much not knowing who the quarterback is, that you know what the offensive line is.
Play Dylan McCaffrey.
No, you can't pull the red shirt now.
Awful.
If he plays a game, it's not pulling the red shirt.
Don't do it.
You can still play a game.
I don't do it not even because of the red
Throw
shirt
him to
thing.
the fire.
He'll get killed.
I know.
Nick Bosa will smoke him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Maybe the only college game this week that matters.
Alabama, Auburn.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
Bing, bing, bing.
Bama giving up 4.5.
Oh, boy.
On the road at
Ooh.
Auburn. A 9-2 Auburn team that has already beaten a number 1 Georgia team and played Clemson very tightly earlier this season. Which one of you guys wants to go first?
I'm not going first. I got to catch up, so I got to see. I need to make educated guesses based on what you guys pick.
Okay. Dave?
You know what?
Or Mike?
Give me Auburn.
Ah! Going out there. Going up against the number 1 team. All right, Dave.
It's really hard for me. I'm very torn. Mainly because I always shit all over Auburn, and now I'm in a spot
where they could possibly
where
you might have to possibly pick them.
Yeah. I still don't feel right about them. I know they beat Georgia, and they played some really tough games. I'm gonna take Alabama by a touchdown.
Ooh.
But I will also say this: as much as it'll hurt me that I lost the pick, I will be very happy for Auburn if they win. I really will.
Auburn is 3-1 against the spread in its last 4, with its one loss coming this last week when favored by 36 against Louisiana Monroe. I'm going with the Tigers here, because this is a game where it almost seems like it should kind of be a pick 'em. So that 4.5 as a home dog, I'm going to take those points all day. Give me those points. I'm taking Auburn. Who you got, Geoff?
War Eagle.
Yeah! My man, don't you dare poison my trees.
War Eagles
Auburn
fly.
Tigers.
When I was at Tomorrow World, that music festival, a girl gave me a War Eagle Auburn bracelet that she made out of like beads. It said War Eagle on it. I still have it. I think it's in my car.
You're wearing it this weekend.
Yeah, I'm definitely wearing it this weekend.
Jeff's actually wearing it all the time around his ankle.
Yeah. I was going to say around.
It's an anklet.
I was going to say around
for
his
sure.
dong.
It's an anklet. It's an anklet.
Oh, it must be a very small bracelet.
Yes.
It's much more like a toe ring. I don't know how you fit War Eagle on a toe ring, but
Yeah, right.
It's an eye ring for his keys.
It's one of those little rice paintings that they put grain of rice.
Grain of rice.
we moved to the NFL game. I didn't really know what other game to choose, so I went and decided, let's have ourselves a little Thanksgiving special.
Ooh.
The only 2 Thanksgiving games that should be played, because fuck that stupid primetime game.
Yeah.
The Los Angeles Chargers. That's right. Headed to take on Rain Dakota Prescott and his Dallas Cowboys. Over-under set at 47.5. I'll go first on this one. I'm going to take the under. No Zeke Elliott.
Yeah.
Who knows if Dallas is going to even score a touchdown?
You have to score a couple. Still not. You need Chargers to score a lot. I'm going to agree with you, Dan. I'm going to go with the under.
I'm looking at the Chargers game from last night.
Yeah, that game was an anomaly, though.
Yeah.
One guy threw 5 picks in the first half.
Yeah, 54-24.
Dallas defense is a little bit better than that.
You said it's 47.5?
Yep.
I'll do the over.
Ooh.
Mike's been tricky.
24-24 overtime game, perhaps, on Thanksgiving Day.
Yeah.
It's a real dog fight.
Dave?
Chargers and Cowboys. Go ahead, give me the spread one more time.
Over under 47.5.
47.
24-24 overtime game gets you over.
Give me the under.
Oh, we all took the under on that one, except for Mike. He's out on an island. He's out on an over island.
Literally nothing to lose.
He's got nothing to lose.
All right, gentlemen, we headed the game of the week.
Mike should purposely have picked against all of us on every single pick just to spite us. And then he would have gone 5-0.
5-0. We're all 0-5.
Yep.
Game of the week, gentlemen.
Uh-huh.
A game that puts your Detroit Lions over the hump, puts them on a path to that Super Bowl run that Jeff Mel thinks they're going to have.
Yeah. I'd agree with that.
Straight fire, baby. Straight fire.
If they win this football game, they're never going to lose another game.
No,
ever.
you're right. No,
Ever.
12-4. 12-4.
Forget that. Let's think about next year when they're 16-0, Geoff Mel.
You know that we're only a few games away from the Browns losing more straight games than the Lions did when they went 0-16. You know that, right?
Yeah, but it's not going to matter if they win one this year. Nobody's going to care.
That's a lot. That's losing 19 games in a row.
That's ridiculous. Minnesota giving up 2.5 on the road to your Detroit Lions, and I'll just go ahead and go first. Somebody blow me that skull horn. Vikings by 13 or more. I'm taking the Vikings.
What was the spread again?
2.5.
Oh, 2.5?
Give me Vikings. It's going to be 17.
Could be.
Give me Vikings. It's 3.
On a late field goal.
Yeah. It's going to be scum. It's going to be a race to 21 points.
Gross.
Yeah, it's going to be gross. Just like all the division games are. Especially on a short week. Gonna be gross.
All right, well.
You say Dave kind of wants to take the Lions here.
Yeah, he does.
It's debating, but I'm going to stick with the Vikings. Another boring one, but what are you going to do?
42-3.
Wow. Okay. This guy's going way out there.
I love just the basis of the Vikings playing hot recently. That's it.
They're one of the best teams in football right now.
Yeah, them and the Saints.
And the Lions are in the bottom third.
But the Saints struggled with the Redskins. They struggled.
Difference is they're allowed to struggle. When you win 8 games in a row, you're allowed to have a stinker.
At 6-4.
Based on the way that they've played, yes.
I think they're right in the middle.
I think they've been very fortunate to play the Browns and the Bears.
Well, they're in their division. What do you want? The Browns is just on the schedule. Play who you play, bro.
I understand that, but when it comes to play on the field,
yeah, I know.
Yes, I think they've been bottom third.
Well, let's see if they play at it's play at the level of your opponent type deal. We'll see if that's the case.
You'd love that.
Hey, I'll come out and bomb them if they lose this week, and if they lose terribly, I got no problem with it. But I can't bag them for winning 3 straight. I mean, I don't know what you want from me. Team wins 3 straight, and Dan just harasses me because I think it's all right.
Because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that they've won 3 straight.
What do you mean it doesn't matter? If they didn't win, if they had lost one of those 3 games, this game wouldn't even matter.
What does it mean going forward, though?
I don't know.
What have you seen?
Thursday has to be the game for me to tell you.
What have you seen out of these 3 wins that suggests to you that the Lions are a legitimate playoff contender? Okay, I'm not going to say that because they may back in as a wild card, but
they have a very good quarterback.
Chance to win the division, chance to win a playoff game. I don't see it. It's not there. It's not there.
I don't know.
I mean, theoretically, it's still there, but it's
5 weeks left. I don't know. They could get hot down the stretch. I'd rather them toil in mediocrity for the first half of the season anyway and get hot when it matters.
It's just
that's what most good teams do. Is they get hot when it matters down the stretch. Now, if they can't do that down the stretch, like the last few years, they've had a pretty good record going into the last 4 games, and they shit themselves the last 4 games and have lost out on divisions for it. And so that's what I'm waiting to see before I write them off. I'm okay with them being 6-4 right now.
I mean, okay.
This game will tell us more. This game is a make or break.
Oh, it sure will. If they manage to beat the Vikings on Sunday or on Thursday,
what if they do it in a super scummy way? Does it matter to you?
No. Now here's the thing.
Now they get run all over.
No, wait a minute.
Keenum coughs the ball up 3 times.
Wait a minute. They win if they win this game and as you say a super scummy way. I'm fine with it against the Vikings. Why? because the Vikings are a good team.
All right.
But what we've seen out of these last 2 weeks, you got to show me something more than that against those type of teams. If against the Vikings, win any way that you can. That's great because the Vikings are a good team.
I just believe that every week. Win any way you can. It's the NFL. Win any way you can.
So what that just told me basically is that Dan's argument is not so much the way in which the Lions win, it's the way in which they win depending on the opponent, basically.
Yes. And I am the complete opposite. Every week, just go out there and win.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. I don't care how you look. You turn the ball over 8 times and you still win. Okay, it was that day,
Geoff
and you still won.
Jeff is a win guy.
Look, I
am.
I'm 100%.
There are games that mean more, but a win's a win.
I'm 100% backing you up on the game this weekend against the Bears. I'm 1,000% on your side that it was disgusting. It should have never come down to that. They played terrible. So that's where I'm not in the win is a win thing. But at the same time, I do understand Jeff's point that, especially in the NFL, there's a lot of mucky games that are weird. Weird shit happens. And yes, in that regard, a win, obviously, this is going to sound really ridiculous, but a win, obviously, is better than a loss. Very simply put, but it is.
But good teams sprinkle those in, right? A good football team goes out and has one crummy game, and they sneak away from a team that's a lot worse than them. The Lions string those games together in a row, which makes you go, what can they do against a good team now? And the answer, as we found out year over year over year, time and time again, with the same core pieces, it means nothing. It means nothing when you back into the playoffs at 9-7 or 10-6, and you go to Seattle and you get blown out by 25 points.
Is it weird that we talked about obviously the Browns and Bears the last 2 weeks, two football teams that were not very good. That the Lions obviously had their struggles, but is it odd that I'm way more, I don't even want to say mad, annoyed at how it went against the Bears than against the Browns? Is that weird? Because with the Browns, first of all, they wound up doing what they needed to do at the end.
I do feel like that's weird.
Because Deshaun Kaiser died.
And I think the Browns, yes, I think the Bears, first of all, I think the Bears are a better coach team.
I think the Bears are a better team in general.
More, but I think the Browns have, it's not like the Browns have no talent. This is what I was saying last week when you were here.
Super athletic and young.
The Browns are not the 0-16 Lions. That's which is the reason why I think they'll win a game. Now, is it possible they go 0-16? Sure. Anything's always possible, but I just don't think it's going to happen. However, I just feel like with everything coming into play, that's a game where I'm not shocked that, especially at the beginning of the game, the Lions played down to the Browns a little bit. The Browns came in fired up. They came off their bye. They were probably the most prepared they're going to be all year. And so I think those things all considered, I'm not necessarily that shocked that the Browns came out and played really well at the beginning. With the Bears, it was you had the same amount of time to prepare. They're not that great of a football team. You are a way better team all the way around, and for some reason you made them look like they were the fucking 85 Bears.
Here's what I will say. That in those two games, the one thing that concerns me the most is that both defense and offense start the game incredibly slow.
Mm-hmm.
And if you start a game against the Vikings incredibly slow,
you're done.
You're probably done. And that's the issue that I've taken from these two games. In the other two cases, the Lions are better football teams than those two teams.
Yeah.
They dug themselves a hole and they got themselves out of the hole. And so I'm not going to kill them because they still won the game. And the Bears, like I've said, I will always put credence into being on the road in the division. It is always tougher when it's not going to play the Browns on the road. It's going to play a division team on the road that knows you, plays you twice a year. You're used to it. You know the guys. It's a very different thing. That's why you see in other divisions, these divisions beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah, it's true.
You never know who's going to win what game. Like when it's Steelers-Ravens, you literally could flip a coin to see who's going to win that game.
All I'm saying is we've watched this movie time and time and time and time and time and time again.
You've already decided that the movie up until this point is going to have the same ending. That's the difference.
Well, that's what we're waiting for. We're waiting to see the ending.
Yeah, but you've come to the conclusion that the ending is going to be the same already.
If you're a betting man, Jeff, Are you betting on this movie to end differently than it has in the past?
Well, it's kind of hard to. I mean, the Vikings are ahead in the division by 2 games, and going forward, that is such an advantage that it's hard for me to, say that I would think the Lions are going to surpass them and win the division. But could the Lions win 10 games? I mean, yeah. So if I'm a betting man, I don't know. It's tough to say. I'm probably not. I mean, what am I betting? That they make the playoffs and win the division?
That they either win the division.
That's what's different,
that they
right?
either win the division or win a playoff game. One or the other. They have to do one or the other.
If they get the wild card, they can win a playoff game.
You think they're going to go on the road?
They've been better on the road than at home this year, which is weird. As a whole,
in a playoff atmosphere,
depends
which is
on
a different animal.
Depends on who they play.
You think they're going to this? Well, let's see.
I think there are a bunch of teams that are very similar to the Lions.
Who has the buys right now in the NFC? Who would have the Eagles and who else?
And would it be the Rams?
And the Rams. The Rams have what? 3 losses? 7-3.
So you think they're going to go on the road to?
No. What are we talking about? It's the fucking. Isn't it the Panthers?
The Saints.
The Saints, yes.
The Saints, sorry, yeah.
Eagles and Saints. Do I think they go to Carolina and beat Carolina? Yes.
You think they can go on the road to Seattle?
Actually, wait a minute.
With Seattle the way they are right now, all hurt and banged up, yes.
Dave's looking up the standings.
New Orleans and Minnesota are both 8-2. What's the tiebreaker there? For if 2 teams end the season with the same record.
NFC record?
It's against NFC opponents?
Well, it doesn't matter. They'd both have a bye in the first week, right?
No, because the Eagles.
No, only
the Eagles. My bad.
Yeah. So it's definitely Philly right now, and then whoever has the better record against the NFC, which right now.
So take those 3 teams out.
Yeah.
So you're going to go on the road to New Orleans and win?
I think they go on the road to Minnesota.
No, we're not talking New Orleans. We're talking Carolina. Would be you said
any of the wild card teams.
If they get a wild card, they'd have to play either the Saints or
Minnesota,
the Vikings, or whoever the other division winner would be, which would be the Rams. At this point,
do I think they could beat the Vikings on the road? Yes.
Why? Because you saw it once already.
And they did it last year. I mean, I think the division is. I don't think the Vikings are that much better. That's all I'm trying to tell you.
The two division leaders right now that I think the Lions would have the hardest time with would obviously be Philadelphia, and for me, just because of the nature of the beast.
But you're not playing them on Wild Card Sunday
or New Orleans. Those would be the 2 teams I think they have the hardest game against. Personally,
I think they could probably beat any of the other teams.
I think they could definitely beat the Rams in LA.
Yeah,
I just don't know what you're looking at. That suggests they can beat these teams on the road.
That all these teams are not that much better than them. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Is that they're 1 or 2 games better than them so far. That's it. That's it.
By
a touchdown against Atlanta, against Atlanta, and you're talking a different story.
By games 1, but now you're going back to when the Lions were
I don't think they're that far off from that team. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You're not going to convince me how good I think they am and make me think that they're less than how good I think they are. I'm not going to change my mind. I think they're basically in a pack of a bunch of teams just like them that they could beat on any given Sunday. That's how I feel about it. I don't think, aside from like 2 teams, that there's anybody that's really that much better than them. And probably the Saints, who they almost came back to beat in that crazy game.
We're watching 2 different
teams.
And
the Eagles. Yes, you look at the Lions and you critique them, but you don't critique the other teams and watch them every Sunday like basically I do every week. I look at these games and I go, this team has a bad offensive line. This team doesn't have a secondary. They all have problems too. They all have injuries too. Every game this week, close. Everybody's scumming it up. Like you said, it's all mediocrity. It's all parity. So why get the Lions win? In your own words, you called the league mediocre and parity from last week, right?
I did.
So why can't the Lions beat any of those teams on any given Sunday? Because they have what? They have a problem on the defensive line, or they have the same problems every other team has.
They're also more poorly coached. on game day than some of those other teams.
Jim Caldwell can lose them a game, and I won't take that away. But depends on the coach that they're playing.
What I don't see out of those other teams.
Because that argument, then we could go with who are the elite coaches in the NFL.
And then
it's very few.
Then you're changing the argument.
Yeah,
but what I don't see out of those other teams that you talk about that are supposedly in the same pack as the Lions, which let's just pretend that's true. Fine, I will.
It's not. No, you can't pretend. That's a fact.
I will kowtow to that. That's fine. We'll say that that's fact, right? What I don't see out of those other teams is I don't see them performing a 4-quarter football game against 3 consecutive bad football teams all in a row. I have not seen another team that's in that same pack that you're talking about do that like the Lions have in the last 3 weeks.
All right, I'll give you that. But they won. And so that's all I can say is they won. They didn't play well, but they still won. Does that mean if they put it all together, does that mean if they play well, they can't beat any of those teams? That's true.
Of course, if they play well, yeah.
But they have not. But they have not played well, and they've still won. That's the point. If they lose any of those games, which you said they got lucky in Chicago, and not until the end did they pull out on Cleveland, and they played an Aaron Rodgers-less Packers team. Well, if they were to lose any of those games, you would completely have the right to say this team sucks.
We just lost your mic.
My mic?
Yeah, your mic just went out.
What?
There you go. Now you're good.
Am I good? Yeah. You completely would have the right to say they suck because they lost to one of those terrible teams, but they didn't. They beat them all. And they didn't play well doing it. If they play well, like they did in the beginning of the season, they have a chance to beat any of these teams.
But look at the nuances within the game. When you're giving up 1,000,000 yards on the ground to the Cleveland Browns and Chicago Bears.
I know what you're saying.
What do you think's going to happen when you go to New Orleans and you have to take on Alvin Kamara?
It's a long way down the road.
All I can do is judge them by what they are now.
And they're 6-4 fighting for a playoff spot. So why can they not win?
It's great that you keep bringing up their record. That's fine.
Because it matters.
Of course it matters in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to tell you is you've given up so far. You do not think they are going to do anything going forward. This season, as what you've seen so far, they don't have a chance. That's what you're saying. You're back to there is no hope. SOL. Maybe get 7-9 and go get crushed on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I do not think that necessarily is the outcome.
Maybe you win
and you're
10
not going to
games.
change. And you're not going to change my mind based on where we are right now in the season. Now you're talking to me next week if they lose to the Vikings, and maybe after that if they lose to like the Ravens on the road. Then you're talking a different story. Yes, of course they're not going to be able to do anything. They have to go out and prove it now. But they still have the opportunity, in my eyes, to go out and prove it. In your eyes, they don't.
Yeah, they've shown me everything I need to see.
Yes.
Which team are they? The team from weeks 1 through 3, or the team from weeks 4 through whatever the hell we've played now?
It's a mix. It always is.
And that's what that's all I'm trying to say is that I think they're somewhere in the middle there, and they can prove that by going out, win this week, and winning next week.
They were playing really well.
I'm with you there. They go out and beat Minnesota, everything changes. But from what I've seen out of Minnesota and out of the Lions, basically since the Lions and Minnesota faced off the first time, what I've seen basically since then suggests to me that this game should be a bloodbath. Now, I also think that Minnesota smoked the Rams this weekend. Geoff doesn't agree with that.
Yeah, I don't agree with that either. I think that's probably an unfair way to put that. I don't think that game was a smoke show.
1 touchdown on the first possession, barely over the 50-yard line since then. That's all I'm going to say. That was the Rams' offense this last Sunday.
So their defense played very well.
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. You can say their defense played very well. I don't think their offense lit it up. I understand what the score said at the end of the game. I understand what the scoreboard said. But I don't think that if you watch the way that game went down, I don't think you can say that the Vikings offense was some sort of a juggernaut.
But let me ask you this question, just regarding the defense for a second here.
Yeah.
The Rams may have had the most prolific offense, or arguably the most prolific offense in the league.
Yes.
You could argue that obviously the Eagles, or a couple other teams you could throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Minnesota's defense held that offense to 1 touchdown at the beginning of the game.
Fair.
I think when I say that the Vikings smoked the Rams, that's what I'm talking about. The fact that
They
that
controlled the
offense
game.
was shut the fuck down. If they can do that to the Rams, where Sean McVay, for whatever reason, somehow has just sprinkled pixie dust all over that football team with that offense, when you look at that game, and you're going up against the Detroit Lions team that cannot run the football, that relies on Matthew Stafford, to his credit, to do a lot with what is very little, and you're going to sit here and tell me that the Vikings and the Lions are pretty close. Is that basically what you're saying?
Here's what I'll say.
Yeah, and I'm not basing it off of what I saw last week.
Here's what I'll say to that.
Neither am I. That's just
you clearly did.
Prime example there.
Here's what I'll say to that. This goes back to Jeff's point, which is valid, about, and it's like the same thing we talk about with the rivalry games in college football. And I think it is kind of a very similar concept to divisional games in pro football. It's a different ball game. It always seems to be, no matter what the teams have looked like, unless you literally have the Browns versus the 2006 Steelers. That's a different story because there's a gigantic gap there, right? But generally speaking, like you're talking about Steelers Ravens most years, those kind of games. Even though the Ravens aren't great this year, and the Steelers are better than them, but I still don't feel like I know what the Steelers are. That's a weird.
Remember
team.
when Ben Roethlisberger's career was over like 6 weeks ago?
Super over. But all right. So here's the thing. First of all, Matt, you want to talk about shutting down the greatest show on turf as of this year
the new incarnation.
The best offense, one of the best offenses this year, other than I don't know exactly how the numbers compute in comparison to
Eagles,
to
Patriots.
Philly. I'd say Philly's pretty damn good too this year. Matthew Stafford's a better quarterback than Jared Goff. Okay, we know this. And the other part, which goes to the divisional thing, Matthew Stafford knows the Vikings. He's played them a lot of times. He understands what their defense does. He knows how to read it. He knows what to do. He knows what to do against it. And I think also Matthew Stafford is just a little bit better than Jared Goff at being able to check out and into things at the line and figuring out what he needs to do to take advantage of the coverage that he's seeing. And so, look, I'm not sitting here calling for a Lions win. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is I think to say that because they played a very good game against the Rams means they're going to come out and have this dominating performance against the Lions. I don't think I don't think it's an exact.
But they're not just doing it to the. They've been mauling people. Like this is one of the best teams
in the division
league.
on the road in 3 days.
Yeah.
That is huge. They have to travel. Lions don't have to travel.
All right, so let me ask you this, Jeff.
Thursday night game. Thursday afternoon game.
Are you satisfied if the Lions lose this game by 3? Because I'm not.
I mean, of course you're not satisfied anytime they lose, especially when it's close. But I mean, this is basically all I'm saying is this is the game where we find out. I'm not ready to think that we know what they are quite yet.
I'll agree with that. I'll agree with the fact that this is the game where it's definitive.
I think
we come on this show next week and we can really talk about what they are.
I think Jeff's arguments and statements are completely valid. I think it's very.
I just feel like you've already put them as a loss in your mind. They don't have a shot to win this game, and it's just much of the same already to you. And what I'm saying is, I need to see that before I'm ready to say that. That was my whole point.
It's a movie, and we've seen it before.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying I think the end could be different this year, just because of the way the things work out.
But then
Vikings have a tougher schedule down the road, down the rest of the season.
They have a bit of a gauntlet
the
next
Lions
4 weeks, so we'll see what happens.
Because as much as we like to say, man, Lions got a tough game on their schedule. Well, if you're a Minnesota fan, you're looking at the Lions in this game, going, "Damn, this is a tough game for Minnesota."
I don't know if there's a lot of Vikings fans saying that.
I think they probably are.
Well, you already lost once.
Yeah.
And
at home.
At home for all the reasons I just said. You got to go on the road, divisional game. It's definitely an opportunity.
Yeah, but Vikings fans probably look at Lions history even more.
And like I say, it's a tough.
Even more than I do.
NFL. It's tough.
You know what? The Vikings started 5-0 last year. How'd that work out for them?
Yeah.
Not great.
Yeah.
And they made themselves better.
They could lose 4 in a row down the stretch and blow it. We've seen the Lions do that. We've seen the Lions be in this position.
Let me put it this way: if you're a Vikings fan, if you are at this point in time, you're 8-2, and you finish the season 9-7, which is possible,
10-6.
or 10-6. Is that aren't you sort of disappointed in that? I would be if I were a Viking fan. You have a chance to win 12, 13 games. If you only win 10, I would look at that and go, yeah, it probably didn't do what you're supposed to do.
I don't see the Vikings going any worse than 11-5 at this point. I guess that depends on what happens on Thursday. If they win this game on Thursday,
they have to go to Atlanta, do they not? Didn't
at
they look
Lions,
at that?
at Atlanta,
Yeah, they
at
got
Carolina.
Tough games,
3 games
man.
in a row.
Tough.
I'm saying if they win this game,
Yeah.
I don't see them going any less than 11-5.
Yeah, because then they play Green Bay and Chicago.
And there's no way they lose the division. This game's for the division. Okay, so here's the thing then. If the Lions are a big boy football team, the big boy football team that we've been clamoring for since I've been in fucking pull-ups, and that's no joke.
That was like last week, Dan.
That also depends now.
Yeah, it's true.
If the Lions are that big boy football team that we've been clamoring for, and I feel like I've said this on numerous occasions since we've started doing this show, then you got to go win this one. You got to go win this one.
Agreed. We said that before we even started the show tonight. I mean, at least I don't know if you were in here or you were out for a smoke.
It's muscle.
But I said that to Geoff. I said this is the game. Like basically what Geoff just said. This is the game where you find out what the Lions actually are. Like this is the marker. Because like you said, we have been talking about what will define you as actually finally being over the hump, where you're not, you can't use the SOL thing anymore, and you really have to put that shit to bed. And you got to win the games that really matter in your season. Last year they had a chance at the end of the year, didn't do it, which was predictable.
And I have to say, this is that's for the high bar, right? That's to win the division, right?
Yeah,
that's what I think kind of what we want and what we're talking about. Obviously, if they lose this game, they could get into the playoffs in a wild card game.
And I don't think you're going on the road and beating anybody.
I mean, I think that's possible, but my whole argument is that to win this game is to know if you have a chance at the division or not, which is what we want, is a division title, especially when there's no Aaron Rodgers. You have to go in, and the Bears are bad. You have to go in and get your division, especially when you already beat Minnesota once. That's how you find out in this week. Now, could you lose this game back into the playoffs? Yeah, not really happy with that, but of course, going to the playoffs anytime is good.
Because you're going to... I see, that's where I disagree. I don't give a shit about getting a wild card bid and going to Atlanta and getting bombed. I don't care. I'm not interested in that. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me one bit. A playoff appearance for this team at 10-6 or 9-7 or whatever the hell they would be is absolutely of no consequence.
It also depends on
to me.
how hot they are at the end of the season, how they look. Just like you're saying now, well, they haven't looked that good. What if they just go out and in the last 3 games explode and murder all 3 last games? And they're rolling as a wild card going on the road against, let's say, who would they be going
say LA? You want to say the Rams?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Atlanta, the Rams.
The Vikings again?
I mean, it's possible.
They could win the game. So that's how we're going to have to look at it going further, but this is for the division. This is for the division game.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about if you're a big boy football team, you got to go win this game. I also think outside of this, if you're a big boy football team, you win this game, and then you clean your schedule, man.
Yeah.
What you have left?
The Ravens are tough.
It's tough, but you can win it.
Tampa, the Bengals.
That's the
Bears at home.
The Ravens game is the only game left on the schedule after this one that I would say.
Bears at home and probably the Packers aren't going to start Aaron Rodgers if they have a losing record.
No.
Yeah,
so
the Ravens game is the only game that, like, if they go and lose it, I'm going to be disappointed, but I'm not going to be like, how the hell can you lose that game?
Yeah.
Every other game would be like, there's no excuse to lose the game.
If it weren't for that defense.
Yeah.
We have to terminate this podcast. Will Geoff have a happy Thanksgiving and a Lions victory?
Hey, even if the Lions lose, as long as the Franklin Patriots win that championship.
There you go, buddy. There you go.
I'll be happy.
You know what? This is going to be the first year. I didn't go last year either, but this will be the first year in a while that I am not going to be going to those football games where I kind of wish I was. Because there's some matchups that haven't been seen in a while or ever that are pretty intriguing to me.
It's going to be a good time.
Kind of wish I still had that field pass.
Geoff's alma mater making it to the state championship.
I'll tell you what.
I was thinking about making some phone calls, trying to get one of those field
I'll tell you what, dude. The fact that Kaz Tech and King are both out of it is amazing to me.
It's beautiful.
I like new teams being in there, man. I like new storylines. It's fun.
For David Faze, Mike Tripp, and Geoff Mel, I, of course, am Dan Griffin, and I hope everybody has a lovely Lions victory Thanksgiving.
We'll see y'all back on Monday, right?
Yeah, that's the goal.
That's the plan.
And we'll find out whether the Lions are a big boy football team or not. I'm not confident, but that's me. You've been listening to Out of Bounds Detroit Sports, sportsradiodetroit.com, and we are out of here.